Welcome to the webinar, our Bigger, Better launch, first one of 2023. Let's let everybody get into the room here and let me open up the chat, because what I want to see is everybody kind of telling us where they're watching from. This is always one of my favorite parts of this. Is every single time there's always a new and unique remote part of this planet Earth that somebody is watching BBL from. So go ahead and start putting it in there. And then Shivali and Carrie, if you want to start giving some shout outs from where people are calling in from.
Yeah, I see Delhi,
New York City, Vegas,
Serbia,
Italy, Colombia,
Germany.
Guangzhou.
Also, make sure you guys have your chat settings to everyone so we can see them.
San Diego, which is where Bradley and I are pretty much in that area. Pretty cool.
Panama, Tel
moon.
Aviv,
Okay.
Turkey, Israel. Amazing. I love
Egypt.
seeing people from everywhere.
Brisbane, Australia, Wales,
London, France, Mexico.
It's going so fast.
It is.
Love it.
And Carrie and I are trying to talk over each other to yell all of them out.
Awesome. Well, regardless of where you guys are watching from, we want to extend a warm welcome to everybody. Emphasis on warm. I know some of those countries I was seeing, like if anybody's in Asia right now, it's like freezing, -20 degrees. So we have it's 80 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius here in Helium 10 land, 24/7. So Molly says Asheville, North Carolina, colder than I like. Now, we're going to throw up a little poll on the screen right now, just to get a kind of the lay of the land here. I want to know where you guys are at, but just keep in mind, regardless of how you answer this, there's going to be value in what we're going to present today, because this is all about strategy today. We're trying to help you guys get a good start on 2023. So thinking about from like last January to now, or maybe it was just all of last year, since we're at the beginning of the year, what did you end 2022 in gross sales, like across all platforms, whether you're selling on Amazon, Walmart, et cetera. Let me know what you ended in. Let's celebrate some wins here. All right, go ahead and close it off, and let's see what the results are. All right, so we've got a lot of you guys were from $10,000 to $100,000. So congratulations to you. That is awesome that you guys are well on your way. And we see a number of you from $100,000 to $500,000 was the second, or the $1 to $10 million. We got a quarter of you are making millions of dollars on Amazon. Love that. There's a good portion of you who are over 10 million. All right. And I didn't see one there for just starting. So whoops, I apologize about that, not having that ready for you guys. But maybe some of you were looking at this and like, oh man, I can't click on anything because it doesn't, say just beginning. Well, guess what? That you're in the right place still. You got to start somewhere. And so we're going to give you guys some great strategies that is definitely going to help you here in 2023. As always, we love giving like little, swag packs to some of you guys out there. So what can people do, Carrie, to make sure they are eligible to win something?
Yeah, so go and take a selfie of yourself. Like, go ahead and do it just right now. Just take a selfie of yourself while you're watching this webinar, and then tag us at Helium 10 software in your story, and also at Serious Sellers Podcast, and we'll repost you. And you have a pretty good chance on winning, because sometimes people don't always do this. So if you do it, you have a pretty good chance of getting some really cool Helium 10 swag. It's a really good deal for you. So I definitely we love to see your faces, and you can win some stuff.
Awesome. All right. So guys, make sure to do that. And while you guys are taking pictures of yourself and you got your camera out, one other thing, hit this QR code and then save this for later. It should open up like, your Chrome or Safari browser, maybe on your phone, and then just hit the button that says listen on Apple Podcasts, and then just hit pause or something on it, because I don't know if you guys have seen, so we're going to talk a little bit about today, but there's so many cool new data points out on Amazon. One of them being like search query performance. And then what we've got a lot of questions about is a lot of people are saying like, wait a minute, I see search volume on Amazon. I see search volume in Helium 10. Maybe I'm using another tool, and the numbers are all different like how do I make sense of it all? And so we did a podcast that dives deep into the history of helium-10 search volume. It talks about, the new Amazon data points. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, which data do I use in which circumstances? And this podcast that's linked to talks about it. There's another, this shows here little clips of the last 3 podcasts. The next one there is episode 417 that talks about more about how to use brand analytics and search career performance. And then Carrie had a good one talking about Walmart selling. We had a lot of good feedback lately on some blogs that she's written about Walmart. So I know a lot of you guys are really interested in expanding to the Walmart platform. And that's actually the latest episode, number 418, that was recently released. So when you hit that QR code, you'll be able to listen to those later on. Make sure to do that. This is one of our educational platforms that we give. Like, we want to give free education out via the podcast. But a lot of you who are selling on Amazon, I'm just curious how you learned how to sell on Amazon. So we're going to throw another poll up here. How many of you maybe learn from Freedom Ticket? You can actually choose multiple ones here. How many of you learned from Project X? That was your first exposure to Amazon years ago. Or maybe, like I said, it was Freedom Ticket with Kevin King. Or maybe you guys are learning, how to use Helium-10 by using the Academy. Maybe you didn't learn Amazon that way, but you're using Helium-10 through Academy. Some of you guys have gotten into PPC Academy. And then we also have our newest course is called Exit Ticket, which helps you learn how to eventually have an exit to your company. So which of these have you guys used? Go ahead and choose as many as you can. And we didn't put podcasts on here because it's kind of separate, but just in the chat, how many of you guys listen to Serious Sellers podcast or AMPM podcast? Just throw that one in the chat. And then if you have a favorite guest, like a lot of people's favorite guest is definitely Kevin King, I would say. But who's your favorite guest?
Yeah,
you have favorite guests that you've heard, Shivali, on the podcast?
Oh, that is hard to pick. No, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, no, she's trying to be, she doesn't want to upset other people. They'll be like, Shivali, why did you pick me? All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the results of the poll here. Let's see. All right, more than half of you have taken Freedom Ticket. Great. All right, that's awesome. If you guys are Helium-10 members and you haven't taken Freedom Ticket, I don't care what level you are. Remember, we showed those levels before. If you're a 10 million and above seller, you still should be taking Freedom Ticket. You're going to learn, some things. A lot of you guys have taken Project X, Helium-10 Academy. Exit Ticket and PPC Academy are our newest ones, but a lot of you have taken those too. So that's awesome. All right. So if you guys are Diamond members and above, make sure to activate your PPC Academy and Exit Ticket. If you don't know how to do that, hit us up in the chat or, hit up customer service in the chat. All right. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is a little bit different than previous BBLs because we wanted to make this one special because it's 2023. It's a brand new year. Whether you're new on Amazon, whether you're established, you want 2023 to be your best year ever. I mean, usually you don't go into a year and say, oh, you know what? I hope I do a little bit less this year. I did a little bit too good in 2022. I need to dial it back. No, nobody is going to be saying that. We always want every year, to be able to level up, right? So the way we can do that is by utilizing strategies that are at our disposal, whether they're in Helium-10, whether they're in Amazon, to give us kind of like a head start on our competition. Because, no matter how many Helium-10 members there are, not every single Amazon seller is a Helium-10 member. So you guys have exclusive access to tools that maybe a lot of your competitors don't have. And that's what's going to set you apart, is actually utilizing them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go I think we got 15, 20, 25 different strategies here that I want you guys to be taking down notes. And each of these strategies, we're going to talk about first why it's important we do it. And we're going to show you how to do it. And then we're going to explain hey, the potential of how this can help you. And maybe not every single one of these you're going to have time to implement in your business, but I want you to really take notes here and be able to, implement the ones that you think are going to impact you the most. And some of these you might be able to do, not the research one, but some of these you might be able to do while we're talking on here, or at least get it started. So for those of you who are watching on a desktop computer or a laptop or something, if you can, especially if you have multiple screens, have this open in one screen. What I want you to do right now is log into your Helium-10 account in your other screen, if you can, or maybe you're listening to this on your phone. Obviously, if you guys are driving or something, don't even try this. I don't want any lawsuits coming my way. Helium-10 caused my accident. Don't turn on your Tesla autopilot and think that you can do this. This is for only those of you sitting down at a desk. have your Helium 10 logged in. And then once you guys are ready, let me know in the chat. And then a few of these we'll call out where it's like, hey guys, we want you to do this right now and get it set up on your screen as we're talking. All right. Ahmed's ready. Tatiana is ready. Chantel is ready. Michael's ready. Radu. All right. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. The very first strategy here. Who's doing this one?
This is my strategy here.
All right, go ahead, Carrie.
All right. So a lot of people, as we start out in 2023, including myself, I've been strategizing with my dad, who I work with, and we sell on Amazon together. We want to expand our product offering in 2023. So that's been our big discussion over, December and January. And this is a really great way that you can actually find products that are going to be easier to get to page one for. So, we all know that Amazon, there are a lot of very competitive products, but there are a lot of niches and a lot of product opportunities that you could actually rank for very easily. And the way that you really can tell about that is by title density. So that means that if a lot of competitors have an exact phrase in their title, exactly as the phrase that you want to rank for, it's going to be harder to rank for that. So you want to find opportunities where there's on page one, not many people using that particular phrase in their title, so that when you go to launch, you can write it into your title and you can easily rank up to the top of the page. So this is how you find those opportunities. So you can play around with these filters. So these aren't exact numbers that you're going to want to, you don't have to put these exact numbers in there. You can play around because you'll get different results if you play around with these filters. But I highlighted the filters that you can utilize so that you can find these kinds of opportunities. So I love the keywords tab. And this is the tab where you're going to go into black box. You're going to click on the keywords tab and you can fill in, the search volume, the monthly revenue, the price, review count, word count, just like I did, or change those numbers around to get different results. And then title density is the most important part here. So I put a maximum of 5 products that have the keyword phrase in their title on page one. So that means that only 5 or less product ideas are going to show up. So those are going to be the ideas that are going to be a lot less competitive and a lot easier to rank to the top of the page for. So if you go to the next page or our next slide, we can see that here are some just different ideas that we got in that one easy search. An iPad wall mount. I never even thought about that. That could be a potentially good product. So that's how you can get some great opportunities and find some good niches where others are not, really focusing on those particular keywords.
Love that. Remember, guys, this is not just for if you're looking for your first product to sell on Amazon, but if you're already selling on Amazon, you want to start expanding out. This is a great way to expand out. Let's go to the next strategy.
All right. So I'm going to take over for this slide and we're going to talk a little bit just about what Bradley and Carrie said, right? Maybe this isn't about your first product. It's an extension. You're looking for a product line extension or bundling ideas. But even more specifically and importantly, this strategy is great for product targeting or sponsored display ads. And this right here is underrated. A lot of people think, okay, for product ideas, I can maybe take a look at, black box, the strategy that Carrie just used. Maybe you're going day to day, looking in stores, figuring out what can I sell online, right? Well, there's actually something on that product listing page that you can take a look at as well. And that is the frequently bought together section. So when you are on a product listing page, such as this collagen peptides listing, the right-hand side screenshots are from what you'll see when you scroll down just a little bit. So you'll see the frequently bought together and the products related to this item, right? Now, it's normal for us to see things that where you are targeting competitors, right? If you're selling collagen peptides, you're targeting maybe other collagen peptide listings for your PPC ads. But you can also take a look at the frequently bought together items, because these are items that people are placing in the same cart and purchasing. So with the collagen peptides here, you also have these CoQ10 and vitamins that people are often purchasing. So maybe these are those product listings that you can run ads against to generate some of those sales. Now, how exactly can you find a history of the frequently bought together? Because the frequently bought together is something that changes. And you can do that by going into Black Box. So the exact same tool that Carrie was just inside of, but go to that 5th tab. So as you can see at the top, it says product targeting. And when you select that and you input an ASIN, you can then select frequently bought together for the source and quickly see all of those different items that have been listed for frequently bought together over that course of the month. And here you are taking a look at the protein powder. So people who are interested in health supplements, such as vitamins or collagen peptides, are probably also going to be interested in protein powders, right? Amazon says there's history for people buying these items together. And so now you can either use this for extending your product line or even just running those ads. So that'll be it for this slide.
Awesome.
Who's
All right,
next?
guys. This is, again, this is kind of like a multi-factor, a multi-use strategy. You should be doing this in your sponsored display campaigns, sponsored product targeting campaigns, but who knows? Maybe you could be a product research too, a product research tip where you're looking for a line extension, right, in your niche. Along these lines, we have another strategy here about how to get ideas for product targeting or product line extensions, not using this. All right. So there's, that's one thing that we want to talk about. There's so many different ways to have success on Amazon, and even to do the same exact thing, or maybe your goal is the same. There's multiple ways to get there. So Shivali just talked about one way to have product line extension ideas or PPC, product targeting campaigns. Here is another way. And again, why is this important? It's important because what is the competition doing? When they're doing product targeting campaigns, a lot of them, all they're doing, if let's say they sell a coffin shelf, they're only targeting other coffin shelves, right? Or, they're selling collagen peptides. They're only targeting other collagen peptides, perhaps, in their advertising. But you guys can take it a step farther. All right. So this one is using the tool Market Tracker. All right. Market Tracker is not necessarily for product targeting, or it's not necessarily to get ideas about what you can sell as your next product. It's actually for tracking your market, seeing, your share of voice and how you're doing in relation to your competitors. But one thing that Market Tracker is doing is it's giving you ideas on products that are entering your niche, and they might not all be your competitors. So like the way Market Tracker works is once you define your market and your keywords, it's going to say, hey, we noticed somebody else, like a new mover and shaker in your niche. Do you want to track this as your competitor? And you can either track it or ignore it. Now, all of these, I'm actually going to hit ignore. All right. Let me zoom in on these, right? And you guys can probably figure out why I would hit ignore on this, right? If my product is a coffin shelf, well, this coffin wall clock is not really my competitor. But these three products here, coffin, what is this? A clock, a tray, and what is this? A skull candle holder. Wouldn't these be great product line extensions? For Manny's Mysterious Oddities, that's the brand of our coffin shelf. Like, if there's, strange people out there, I usually say weirdos, but I'm trying to be more nice in my old age. If there are unique individuals out there who like spooky related things, if they would buy a shelf shaped like a coffin, wouldn't they might be interested in a clock shaped like a coffin or a tray? Sure. So I might not have known these products even existed, but by looking at Market Tracker, I have some ideas. At the very least, what I'm going to do is I'm going to target these three products in my product targeting campaigns so that my coffin shelf will start showing up on these pages. So this is something I want everybody to do. Make sure you have your Market Tracker active. Go into there. Now, you can't do it right now because it takes a little bit longer, but I want you to set on your to-do list. Go into Market Tracker, create a new market, and call it whatever is your market, and then choose your 5 top keywords. Like for me, if it's a coffin shelf, it's obviously going to be coffin shelf, gothic decor, coffin bookshelf, right? Choose what your top 5 keywords are and put your existing competitors, and let Market Tracker do the rest of the work for you. Let's keep going on with these strategies.
All right. So I love doing keyword research because when you find keyword opportunities, then there's a lot more potential sales that come with that. So this is how you can find keywords that your competitors are actually getting sales from that you're not even ranked for. So I like to go back and look at these kind of, opportunities every few months. So you can really go into Cerebro every few months and do this and see what keywords you could potentially be missing out on. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is, what I usually do is I start out on Amazon and I find the, top competitors, the top sellers, and I just check them all off in X-ray, and you can hit run Cerebro and it'll take you straight to Cerebro and you don't have to copy in all those ASINs. So your major competitors are going to be right there and you can hit get keywords. Now, these are the filters that you're going to want to fill in order to get this information. So you want to find a keyword that your competitors are ranked, at least one of your competitors is ranked between 1 and 20, and that you're not ranked for. So we've got, search volume here, but we've got position rank 0 and 0. So that shows that you're not ranked for it. And then, you want to find at least one competitor that is between 1 and 20. So once you hit the get keywords, you're going to see that you get some, potential keyword opportunities. So right here, we've got room decor goth, that, you could potentially get some keyword sales on. So you can add that into your listing, or maybe start some PPC targeting so that you don't miss out on those keyword sales.
Awesome. Let's keep rolling here. Next one.
Okay, so this one is about how you can figure out which child item in a parent listing is selling the best. So sometimes when you are extending your product line, or you want to kind of reach that scaling potential for your business, you want to take a look at, are there other variations that you might be able to sell? So how to get a feel for that. Or even let's say this is your first product, right? And you want to figure out, you want to start off with an initial inventory order of one color only or one size only. How do you figure out which one is going to do the best or is your best bet? Well, when you are on a product listing like this, we're currently taking a look at headphones. This has several variety, right? This has 8 different variation colors. Well, how can I figure out which one is going to do the best? So let's take a look at the next slide. And that is going to show us that by using the Chrome extension, when you hit Review Insights, you can see that the Product Variations tab is going to tell you what the review share per color or variation is. So in this case, it's color, but of course the other options are sizing, or maybe different weights or different sets, right? Sometimes it's a pack of 2 or a pack of 4, pack of 6. Well, here it will show you that variation alongside the ASIN and then the review count, review share, and rating. Of course, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but take a look here. Black has 82% of the review share. And I'd like to think that that means a lot more people are buying black. And that's why you can make that maybe your first set of variation that you want to place an inventory for. Or maybe that's the next color or next size or next set that you really want to extend to.
All right. So this is important, guys. I'm just going to, comment on this because I want to make sure people understand why this is important as well. In addition to what Shivali was saying, which is what you should be your primary use of it. Some of you might be wondering, well, wait a minute, isn't there a Helium 10 Chrome extension X-ray that tells me the estimated sales? Like, wouldn't that tell me which one is selling best? And the answer is no, because the way that Amazon shows BSR, which is how any tool like X-ray calculates sales, is that it does it by the whole listing, like the whole family or the whole variation family, right? So the number you see on X-ray or any other tool, whether it's Helium 10 or not, it'll give you a sales number based on what all of the different colors are doing. So with that, you really don't know which one is the best seller. So this is a great way, guys. And this is what I want everybody to make sure that some of you guys were saying, hey, how do I, install the extension? You guys should have the extension installed. If not, you go to helium10.com/extension, and that'll take you directly to the Google Chrome store where you will be able to install it. But this is something that is super easy. Any level of Helium 10, it doesn't have to be like only Diamond members. Like every level of Helium 10, including the starter plan, actually has that available. So make sure you are utilizing what she just mentioned. The next thing we're going to talk about is find out if you're searchable. Right. The other word is whether you're indexed. All right. Searchable or indexed, those are kind of interchangeable. Why is this important? Well, just because you put a keyword in your listing doesn't mean you're automatically going to be searchable. Like for whatever reason, sometimes Amazon does not relate you to it. Or maybe you don't remember if you use the keyword in your listing or not. And this is important because like you can't really run PPC campaigns, like targeting a keyword that you're not indexed for. I mean, if Amazon doesn't think you're relevant for the keyword, they're not going to be showing you sometimes in advertising for that keyword. And basically, if you're not searchable, you're never going to be ranked for that keyword because being searchable or being indexed is the first step to getting ranked, showing up on page 1. So I'm actually going to go back to what Carrie was talking about. This is the exact same slide that Carrie was showing. Using her strategy, which is, again, guys, sometimes, I know I'm over the top here, but maybe I sound excited about everything I talk about, but I don't know if I can accurately describe how important this is by my level of enthusiasm here. This is absolutely vital of a strategy that every single person can use. And this isn't one of those ones you can do while we're talking because it takes a couple of minutes. But This is another one I want you guys to add to your list of must do's. All right. So do what Carrie said. Go back to Carrie's strategy. Once you watch this replay, put in your product as the first ASIN in Cerebro, and then put your 5 or 6 other products, and then use those ones that she had, which was position rank 0, meaning, hey, my product is not ranking at all for it. And then advanced rank filter 1 of 2, you put minimum 1, and then advanced rank filter 2 of 2, you put minimum 1 to 20. Basically, what are you saying to Helium 10? Helium 10, here's my product, here's my competitor's products. Show me a keywords where I'm not ranking at all. Like I'm not showing up in the search results in the top 7 pages, but one of my competitors is on the top of page 1. That's basically what you're telling Helium 10 in like common English right there, right? That's what Carrie was showing you. Now, I'm going to show you the next step after that. All right. So what you do is you're going to find keywords that you're not ranking for, right? And so here's some of those right here. This is the Cerebro results. What you do is you copy those results, because this is the next step. You can't just jump to the end. Hey, I'm not ranking for it, so let me go and make a PPC campaign. No, the next step is, am I searchable for it? Am I indexed? So that's where the tool Index Checker comes in. You open up Index Checker and paste those keywords, all right? And then once you run Index Checker, it'll tell you if you're indexed or not, but it doesn't stop there. For example, here's 2 keywords that it said I'm not indexed for. So by the way, guys, these ones that say I'm indexed, that means I'm good to go. Like I'm not ranking for it, but I am indexed, meaning I can go ahead and launch PPC campaigns, Google campaigns, whatever my strategy is. But for this one, coffin dining room and Gothic bed sheets, I'm like, okay, I'm not indexed. But does that mean I have to add every single one of these keywords to my listing? No, like I know I'm indexed for coffin, right? I know I'm indexed for Gothic. Like there must be like an individual word in these phrases that is causing me to not be indexed or searchable for the entire phrase. Does that make sense? Are you guys picking up what I'm throwing down here? Let me know in the chat. Like this is so important. I want to make sure you guys are understanding what I'm talking about here. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys understand where I'm going so far? All right. Cordion says, go on. Deborah says, yes, I got it. Rebecca says, yeah. All right. Okay, good. All right. So you're with me now. How to find out which keyword individually is you're not ranking for. You copy those 2 phrases. You put it right back in Index Checker, right, guys? And this is something that 99.9% of you guys, I guarantee, don't even know how to use, because nobody knows about this kind of feature. You unclick maintain phrases, all right? Unclick maintain phrases. That means Index Checker is going to check every single one of these keywords. And then you hit index, or you hit process again. And now look, yes, I am indexed for the individual word coffin. I am indexed for room. But the reason why I'm not indexable for these full phrases is because of this individual keyword dining and sheets. All right. So to get indexed for these 2 phrases, all I have to do is add dining and sheets to my listing somewhere, and theoretically I'll be indexed. So I think you guys can understand how powerful this is. You might be wondering, how do I get searchable for individual keywords or phrases? This is the way to do it. Let's keep going.
All right, so this is how to see the history of your market share. Now, Bradley talked a little bit about how to create a market share and market tracker. So this is a really great tool that I think a lot of people underestimate, where you can put those top keywords and you can see your market as a whole. So this particular strategy is just because a lot of people will go in, we see this a lot in our Facebook groups, and they'll be like, why are my sales down? Does anyone else have sales down? And it really isn't a question you can ask to everyone, because everyone is in a different market. Like, say somebody's just selling Christmas items. Well, it's July. Well, yeah, maybe their sales are down because it's not the right time, where there's different ebbs and flows of different markets. So you can actually see the history of your market share by, having your products in market tracker. So you can see here, you can see your entire market share. So you can see that we have, where it says my market share, we have the majority of the market share, and you can see where it goes up and down. And most of the time when it's going up and down, the whole entire market's kind of fluctuating the same way. So you can see, that it's kind of a trend that's happening with everyone. So it's not necessarily something that you're doing wrong, but it's maybe just a kind of cyclical thing for that market share. So I really love to take a look at this just to see what opportunity you have to increase your market share, and then also just to see where you are in comparison to your competitors.
Yep. And this is why I always say, guys, like, because this exists, You never need to post in Facebook groups or Reddit like, hey, everybody's sales down or my sales down. What's going on? You're like, no, you don't have to post that because you have the visibility right here in your market tracker where you know if your niche is going down or if it's just you. You know if it's just you, if your market share is going down. I mean, your sales could be going up and your market share could be going down. That means that you're not doing very good, even though your sales are up. So it's really important what Carrie just said. What about the next one, Shivali?
All right. So as Amazon sellers, we want to increase our review velocity, right? And in the past, you could do search, find, buy. You could have some sort of incentive, depending on what it was, to ask for that review, right? Send out 3 to 5 messages. But that is no longer the case. Certain language can get you suppressed. So that is where automation for request a review is important. And as opposed to going into Seller Central and going into the orders, each of the orders and clicking that button, you can actually go into follow up and then select email automation to create a new automation directly. When you do that, you will see that on the right-hand side, that red highlighted box, you can select that for request a review. And when you do that, it will take you over to this page where now you can really customize that. So yes, it is still Amazon's template, but now you can customize some of the other factors to it. So for example, the delivery time. So as opposed to something that might require a little bit of time, for example, you have a CBD cream, or maybe you have a pillow that you need a little bit of time to allow the consumer to really experience before they post that review, versus something that's like immediate, right? Maybe it's a makeup brush or something that you can just immediately, your consumer can use and tell you what the effects of that is or are. So this is where you can choose if you want to wait for 7 days, 15 days, maybe you just want to wait 3 days. And then you can also customize that even more by selecting what your consumer pool is. So for example, are they based in the US market? Are they based in Mexico? Are they based, did they purchase a FBA product, or maybe they were through an FBM listing? Are they a repeated buyer? And all sorts of different information here that you can see. You can select it, and that is just something simply you wouldn't really be able to do unless you maybe hired someone to go through all your orders and take a look at where they're placing orders from, or individually go through and click that button on Seller Central. So this is really beneficial. It can save you a lot of time, and it's really great for building up that social proof on your listing to get you even more sales.
Yep. So everybody, this is one of those ones that you guys should do. I mean, this is one of those ones that you technically could do right now. Like if you do not have this set up for your main product, follow those steps. Like right now, while I'm going through the next slide, it'll take you 30 seconds and you just go to follow up, do new automation and do the Amazon request a review, select your product, which one you want it to go, and boom, goes to dynamite. You are done. And that's how easy it is. What people don't realize is that this is automating the request a review, meaning that this is just triggering that one button on Amazon order pages, right? This is not Helium 10 sending this out. This is not a custom email like, oh, I'm not sure if Amazon's going to like this language or not. No, this is 1,000,000,000% Amazon terms of service compliant, because it's only triggering that button that shows up on Amazon order pages that Amazon wants sellers to use. All right, guys. So this is a no-brainer. Every single person on this call, whether you're selling 100 units a day or 1 unit a day or 1 unit a month, you should have this active so that you can start generating those, your review, or increasing your review velocity. All right. The next tip is how to find the keywords that most of the top competitors are sleeping on. This is another kind of quick one that only takes you guys maybe a minute to do once you have identified your competitors. All right. And this is important because it's like maybe what the most important keywords in your niche are, right? Like if you're selling coffin shelves, obviously through your keyword research, everybody's ranking for coffin shelf. If you're selling a garlic press, the main keyword is garlic press because everybody's on page 1. But how do you find the keywords that most of the top competitors are not sleeping on or are sleeping on, meaning that there's less competition to get the sale? All right. So you go into Cerebro, enter all of the top products, and then this is one of our what we call one-click filters. Just takes 1 click, guys. Just hit opportunity keywords, and what's going to show up is you are going to see all of the keywords where only one or two of your competitors are in like the top 10 or 15, but everybody else is not. For example, this keyword that I zoomed in on, I think it's goth decor, right? Look at where people are ranking, right? First of all, this one that's bold, this is our coffin shelf. We are ranking 271. Are we getting any sales from this keyword? Absolutely not. We're on like page 7, right? Everybody else is either not ranking for it or they're also ranking like way at the bottom. But one of these coffin shelves is on page 1, position 7, meaning that if I get my product to page 1, am I competing with the entirety of page 1 for a sale of somebody who would buy a coffin shelf? No, I'm only competing with one person. So if somebody who would possibly buy a coffin shelf searches goth decor right now, this one seller, they have zero competition. They're going to get 100% of the sales of people who happen to be looking for coffin shelves. They're crushing the game, right? I want to get on page 1, so at least I have a 50-50 chance to get that sale. And that's a much better chance than on the other keywords where like all of my competitors are on page 1. Hope that makes sense. Another one, guys, I want every single person to be running on their products. Let's keep it going.
All right. So this is a great topic here. I actually used to write listings for sellers. Actually, 2 years straight, I did this. So it was all I did was just writing listings. And there's 2 reasons why I was really successful. The first is because I used Helium 10 for keyword research and also the Scribbles listing builder to write the listings. But also I would study the competitors' listings and make sure that I addressed all of the issues that might be happening with the competitor in my own listing. And so we've actually made it really easy for you in Helium 10 to be able to figure out what the main questions are that customers are not getting their questions answered from their competitors. So if customers have a question, then they're going to be less likely to convert in that moment because all of their information is not present. So what you can do to figure out what your customers are going to be asking so that you can write it into your listing and make sure you address it is go to your competitor's listing. And once you're on the listing, you're going to hit the Helium 10 Chrome extension and you're going to choose Review Insights that I have highlighted at the bottom there. So you'll click on Review Insights. And right here, you can see that this is going to list the actual questions that customers are asking on that listing. So the top question is, what is the battery charge time? You can actually sort these by votes and by answer count. I like to look at by votes because if a question has a ton of votes, that means that a lot of people are asking that question and you want to make sure to address that. And so that is one of the things that made me extremely successful when writing listings is that I made sure to address all of the potential questions that a customer would have so that they would be more likely to convert on that listing. So that is something that everyone should be doing. If you haven't done that, make sure you do it. You can even check out on your own listing if there are questions people are asking that you haven't addressed, and you can write those into your bullets and description.
Awesome strategy.
All right. So to continue on the topic of your listings, right? Your images, your video content, your A+ content, bullet points, all those things are important. But specifically when it comes to your images, it's really beneficial to take a look at what your competitors are doing, right? To understand that niche landscape and to figure out what you do and what you don't want to do. So let's talk about how you can analyze your image strategies for your competition. When you are inside of the listing analyzer, you'll have this media comparison button in the right-hand corner. So this next slide shows you what you'll see when you hit that button. When you do, you'll be able to see all of those different ASINs that you've selected and take a look at all the graphics. So before, we used to encourage people to go into different listings and take a look at what their graphics really looked like. And then you would print those out and then give those to your graphic designers or maybe your photography people to figure out how you really want to put together your listing. But here, it'll put it all that information side by side. So then you can see what is really kind of concise throughout that niche, or maybe what you want to do differently. For example, on these current screenshots that you're looking at, you can see all of them have some sort of dimensional image just to get a feel for how big that coffin shelf really is. As opposed to that bottom coffin shelf you're seeing, it has a red background in that coffin shelf. That's really different from these other ones that have a more dark undertone. So that will really pop when you are taking a look at it on the page. But again, this is really to kind of help you get a feel for how you can really stand out when it gets to your listing being up on those search results page. I see Allison says, dang, now I want a coffin shelf.
We're like subliminally getting in people's mind, like all of a sudden everybody's going to be buying collagen peptides and coffin shelves. And they're like, why am I doing this? Like, what happened? The other result of BVL. All right, guys, next one, how to find the keywords that your buyers purchase right away after they click on your product. This has nothing to do with Helium 10, by the way. All right. But this is interesting to know because like it kind of like lets you know where you're really, really doing well on, and maybe where you might need to have some better copy that really captures the people who get on your page. And so this is for people who have brand registry, and it's search query performance. So how to get here is you hit brand analytics, or go to brandanalytics.helium 10, brandanalytics.amazon.com. And you guys can do this right now while we're talking, just to make sure you guys have access to this, and you'll know if you do or not right away. If you have brand registry, brandanalytics.amazon.com. At the very top, there's a button that says search query performance, or search analytics might say. Hit that, and then this screen will come up. You're going to hit your ASIN view. All right, ASIN view, and then find your top product. And then once you hit that, you could look at it monthly, or you can look at it quarterly or weekly. I chose monthly here. Is a whole bunch of keywords comes up, and then I like to look at where I'm getting the most clicks and where I'm getting the most purchases. Now, this is one of those things that I do a deep dive into in that podcast episode. I just linked to you guys above, so make sure to check out that episode. But long story short, this is showing you where people searched a keyword, they clicked on your product, and then they bought it kind of like right away, like within the same day. What this doesn't include is if like somebody landed on your product page from like another product targeting ad, or maybe they added it to cart and then they're just like went ahead and purchased it the next day. Or, maybe they clicked back and they went to another search and then they came back and bought this product. Like all of those, they're not counted here. So the only ones that are counted is if they do a search, immediately click on your product, and then immediately purchase it, or you added it to the cart immediately and then they purchase it later in the day. So it's only maybe about 20% of your sales or 25% of your sales for that keyword, but it gives you a good idea at which keywords that people are just like immediately like clicking on your product and buying it. So this is a great metric to look at. So again, brandanalytics.amazon.com. At the very top, hit search query performance. If you want to deep dive into how this works, make sure to check out episodes 416 and 417 of the podcast that I linked to earlier.
Okay, so for this next strategy, you actually have to have two things in place. First, you have to have brand registry. And then the second thing is you need to make sure that you have your Helium 10 account connected to Seller Central so that you can pull in this information. So this is how you can find the correlation to, between your organic and sponsored ranks and how they relate to the top 3 clicked products. So when you actually go into Cerebro and even in Magnet, you can see the click share and conversion share columns that are listed when you do a search. So it'll be in the first 2 columns usually, unless you've moved them around. So you'll see the click share and conversion share, and you can expand out. There's a little tiny graph that you can click on and expand it out to see a little bit more information about the click share and conversion share. And so this is what it looks like when you expand it out. And this is going to show you how important it is to have either sponsored, your sponsored products going, and also what your, organic rank and how that's helping you with your conversion share. So you can see here, these 2 competitors that have the top click share and conversion share are organically ranked number 1. Now their sponsored rank isn't that high, but for us, we were ranked 13. So we really needed to make sure that we got that high sponsored rank so that we could get that conversion share and that click share. So you can see that happened actually for 2 different months in a row that we were the top spot in the sponsored rank. And that was what helped us to get the top click share. Now, if you can imagine, if you have the top organic rank and the sponsored rank, this could increase quite a bit more. So it just gives you an idea of, your rank in regards to your click and conversion share.
Yeah, super important, guys. This is another thing that I think a lot of people sleep on. And everybody just assumes, right, that, hey, if I want to be one of the top players in this, keyword, I have to be page 1, position 1 or 2. But look at this one that Carrie has here. For the whole month of November, we were only on average on position 16, and we were still the number 2 ordered coffin shelf for that keyword. So that shows that actually in this keyword, my sponsored rank was more important than my organic rank. Let's say there's a keyword where you're already the number 1 seller on the page and your sponsored rank is low. Well, what does that tell you? Well, maybe in this keyword, being number 1 in sponsored rank is not that important. So maybe you want to dial back on your spend. So it's really, really, I mean, it's fascinating what kind of strategies you can do by looking at that information. That's for diamond members and above. All right, Shivali, you're next.
Okay, so this is incredibly important. I mean, a lot of these strategies have been incredibly valuable, but this one specifically, you're going to want to make sure that at the end of this, you follow through on that call to action, because this can really take away from the bottom line of your business. If you don't have this on, you want to constantly be monitoring your listing. And if any one of those items changes, for example, maybe your dimensions changed, or your product got marked as an adult product, or something happened where your category changed, you're going to want to stay on top of that to make sure that it's not drastically impacting your listing sales. Now, this next slide showcases that coffin shelf again that you guys are excited and now you want to buy, but this has the profitability calculator open for starters, right? So this is part of our Chrome extension. But when you are taking a look at the dimensions here, I inputted 9 by 9 by 8 with 3 pounds, weighing in at 3 pounds, and it's small oversize. You have about a $7 net profit. And then I just changed 1 dimension on that.
Just by her changing 1 inch, do you guys see what happened there? Like it changed from $7 profit down to $2 profit, or it could have been vice versa, the way you look at it. So can you guys see how big of an impact this is? Now, the crazy thing is Amazon just goes and does this sometimes, somebody at a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse might they might measure it differently or something like that. And then all of a sudden they're like, nope, this is not 9 by 8. It's 9 by 9 by 9. And that one warehouse worker making that one small change could mean thousands of dollars different. So the thing that Shivali was showing here is that you guys need to have alerts activated for all of your products. Now, this is what I want everybody to do right now. So this is one of those ones that you can do right now. Everybody go into your Helium 10 account, your other screen, hit alerts. It's under operations, I believe. Hit alerts, and then one by one for your top ASINs that you want. Like I know some of you guys have like 1,000 products. You can't do them all right now. What I want you guys to do is hit this toggle on. All right. So one by one right now, everybody should be doing that right this second. And yes, somebody says, really, Amazon warehouse workers can edit your listing without your consent. They can and do. It makes sense. Like what if you put in your listing, oh yeah, this is only 6 by 6 by 5 and it's really like a refrigerator or something, like obviously, they'd want to, change that. All right. So everybody, are you guys doing it now? Tell me who's done it. Who's done it right now? I want to be able to give you a shout out in the chat. Everybody, I wanted you to go to alerts and make sure to toggle the ones to on. And then what this does is now that you toggle it on, Sherry did it, Alyssa did it, Peyton, Asif, great. All right. Now what's going to happen is if Amazon does do that, guess what? You're not going to be in the dark, or you're not going to be like at the end of the year trying to audit your account and then discovering it. You're going to get an email or text message every time that Amazon might do this, so that you can go immediately and tell Amazon to recheck it and that it's wrong. And then you can get your money back, from Amazon. So super important for this tactic. All right. The next one is finding out what other kinds of non-traditional placements products have in search results. All right. So, you guys this is important because historically you only maybe were looking at where your competitors or you are ranked for organically on page 1, what keywords you're ranked for. Maybe some of you are, you've been checking through Helium 10 where the sponsored rank comes up. But nowadays there are just so many different pages that people are showing up for in search results. Like look here on the left-hand side, you see this is I don't know if you guys can see my mouse moving here, but I'm pointing to a sponsored brand headline ad. All right. What are these? These are the regular sponsored ads. How about here on the right-hand side? This is a new widget or a newer widget called highly rated. All right. Here's another widget called Amazon's Choice that shows up on page 1 sometimes. Here's another widget called Trending Now. All right. So there's another kind of sponsored placement. Here is one that is top rated from our brands. Here's another one that's editorial recommendations. All right. There's just a countless number of these sponsored placements now. So just looking at organic is not telling you the whole picture anymore. So for those of you who are elite members, might be open to diamond now. I'm not sure, but those of you who are elite, like Gonzalo, I saw is on here, Gina, you guys should be using this, where if you enter into Cerebro and ASIN, like your competitor's ASIN or another ASIN, then what you want to do is look here and you can see the match type. All right. And we are now tracking all of those that are happening on page one. So you might see one of your competitors is like showing up 7 times on page one. That's literally possible nowadays, where they can be in the sponsored product. They can be in the sponsored brand section. They could be in Amazon recommended. They can have organic, all of these they can have. And so this will really give you a good picture on what is going on page one. Now, I think there might be another poll just so we can catch our breath here. Or you guys can catch your breath as far as all these strategies. But those of you who sell on Amazon or other marketplaces now, you can choose multiple ones here. But I'm curious where you guys are selling, like Amazon USA or North America. Maybe you're selling in Europe, maybe in Asia, like Amazon Japan. Maybe you're selling on Walmart. Select here, multiple choice, where you are currently selling on, and we're going to get into our next one in a little bit here. All right, we'll give it 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go ahead. Let's go ahead and end this poll. And all right, we see, let's see. Oh wow, there's 10% of you guys selling on Etsy. That's pretty
27% Walmart. I love
27% selling on Walmart. That is absolutely awesome. Carrie loves to see that.
Yes.
There's a 20 of you guys are selling on Amazon Japan or Australia. A lot of you selling on Amazon Europe as well. That is awesome. All right, cool. Good to know. All right. Regardless of where we are selling on Amazon, at least there's a way that we can actually get some money back. So Carrie, can you help us out with that?
Yes. And this is actually a tool called Refund Genie. I believe it's one of the first tools that Helium 10 had. It's been around for a long time. As long as I can remember, Manny used to talk about it a lot. So this is a great way to get money back from Amazon. So all you need to do is you need to open up your Refund Genie in Helium 10. Now make sure that your Helium 10 account is connected. And then it'll show you, it checks, every so often whether or not you have any lost or damaged items in the warehouse. So if Amazon loses or damages your items, then you actually can get reimbursed for those. And I actually know people who have lost thousands of dollars because they totally ignored this. And then when they started doing this, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much money back, because this actually happens, kind of often, especially if you're a bigger seller. So you can see down on October, we had 1 refundable item. So you can click on that button that says download, and you're just going to download the information. You'll unzip the file, and then you'll have files that you can actually upload in the Seller Central help section. So you're going to go to the help or support on Seller Central, and then you're going to go to investigate an item lost in the warehouse. And what you'll do is you'll put in the information for that product, the FN SKU, and then you can just attach the document that you download from Refund Genie. And it's very, very simple to open up these cases so that you can get reimbursed for those products. So definitely, this is really helpful, especially if, Amazon is losing or damaging your products quite often.
Yep. And that's, guys, the Project X account, I take pretty good care of it. So there's only one for like $30 that you saw there, but I was looking through some Refund Genie, what customers have open. There were some customers who had up to $40,000 they could claim from Refund Genie that they haven't done yet. I mean, $40,000,
Crazy.
Let's say that Amazon only agreed with Helium 10 on like 25% of that. Let's just say, I'm just, playing devil's advocate here. Let's just say the rest of it, they're like, no, this is actually, we actually reimburse you, or like they came up with whatever excuse. That's still $10,000. And if you apply for that, that person, that Amazon seller, I don't know who it was, but they could get $10,000 cash money directly from Amazon. That's like pays for Helium 10 for life. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go into the next one. It was actually going to be Shivali's, but she's still having some computer issues here. But this next one is about how to see where your inventory and sales are geographically inside of profits. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, I just got a message in the Facebook group the other day about, hey, I noticed that my like when people go to my product page in certain areas, they're seeing like a 2-week delivery time. And I don't want to have PPC active right now, right? Because what happened was she was out of stock and she's just getting back into stock. But until your Amazon inventory is distributed across the board, you're not going to be able to have like full prime delivery. Amazon is going to show like 1 week and 2-week delivery times, even though it doesn't take that long. And of course, if there's a buyer who sees that, are they going to want to buy your product? No, they're not going to want to buy your product. So if you ever want to keep your listings closed, if you're just coming back into stock, sometimes that's a strategy you can use until your inventory is distributed across, a little bit more. And so one of the ways you can do that is under profits, go into your heat maps. All right, go into your heat maps, and then you'll see inventory heat maps and sales heat map. All right, so the inventory heat map will show you all across the country where your inventory is being stored at in Amazon FBA warehouses. So you'll know if it's distributed yet. All right, so this is great information for that. And also you can start looking into trends. You can see where your sales are. All right, maybe you have a high concentration of sales in a certain part of the country. Who knows what you want to do with that information? Maybe you want to run extra Google ads, or maybe you want to do the opposite. Maybe you're like, what in the world? Nobody's buying coffin shelves in Colorado and Kansas. So you know what? I'm going to do some ads because I know that there's a bunch of Gothic weirdos out there. See, I said weirdos. Gothic unique individuals who want to buy coffin shelves. So I'm going to make sure that I'm on their radar by doing Google ads, that are geo-targeted to these states. I mean, the possibilities are endless of what you can do with this information. So a lot of you guys might not have realized this is available right now. You guys can go ahead and do that. Those of you, I think it might be for platinum too, but at least diamond members, I want you right now to go into your profits, hit heat maps, and start looking at your products where they are stored at. You can even see the history of it. Like, hey, my sales are really low on September 29th. Was it because my inventory wasn't spread out? You can actually go in history and see snapshots of where your inventory is at. All right, let's keep it going now with the next strategy, which is still me. And that's how to make sure you're showing up at the top of search results. All right, this is super important because, you want to make sure that people are seeing your products first. So this is a super, super simple one right here. And again, everybody should do this right now. This is one of those ones I want you guys to do if you don't have it yet. If you're a Helium 10 member, platinum, diamond, elite, I don't care what level you are, open up Keyword Tracker and add your ASIN and then add your top 5 at least keywords. All right, super simple to do. And even though you're just starting today, you are actually going to be able to see the history of where you've been ranking if it's for a keyword that has significant search volume. All right, so what everybody needs to do is add your own product to Keyword Tracker, add at least 5 of your top keywords, and then start looking at your history of where you show up organic and sponsored. This is especially important if you are launching a new product. You want to be checking all kinds of different addresses and browsing scenarios of where your sponsored ad is showing up. So this little rocket ship right here, this is called Boost. I don't have it. They're all gray right now for me because I don't have it active. If I had it active, it would be red. All right. So you activate it. And for 10 days, we are going to check 24 times a day. So in 10 days, it's going to check 240 times, all kinds of different addresses, all kinds of different browsers to see, like, give you a good picture at where you're ranking across the marketplace that you are selling in, especially in sponsored is important. So you can see right here for Coffin Bookshelf, I am the #1 organic rank and the #1 sponsored rank the last time Helium 10 checked. So this is something I want everybody to do, and it should be part of your process. Every day, every other day, take a quick look at your rankings to make sure that the keywords that you want to be at the top of page 1 for, you are there. Last thing is just a quick update for those of you who use Atomic. We have just launched a couple of weeks ago, PPC campaign bidding strategies. All right. So this is going to be an interactive session. All right. So this kind of doesn't have anything to do with Helium 10. I'm only using this as an opportunity to show how this is now available in Atomic, where you can, people were asking about this. Hey, we want to be able to choose our bidding strategy, down only, up and down, and fixed bids. And we want to use the bid multiplier. So multiplier. My question to you is, regardless if you're using Helium 10 Atomic or not, what are you guys doing for these two things in your PPC campaigns? Like, what kind of strategy works best for you? Are you guys mainly using down only? Are some of you using up and down, or are you using fixed bids? And for the rest of you, does anybody here use bid multipliers? And if so, what are you doing for top of search? Let me just take a second here and pause and look at the chat. Let's see. Oh, wow. Everybody's doing down only. John is the only one who's doing something different. He says, I'm doing dynamic up and down, and he's doing up by 75%. Okay. Sonia is also doing up and down. Excellent. Not many people are using the bid multipliers. I personally don't. I'm not saying you should or should not use it. I'm just saying I personally don't. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. I saw somebody says, no idea what it is. I love it. You just learned something new. All right. For your campaigns, you should definitely go into this in Helium 10 or in Seller Central. Lynn says, I'm still learning, but I'm using up and down, and multiplier is 70 and 30. Okay. That sounds decent. So a lot. Okay. So only, Ola is using fixed bids. Okay. I personally use fixed bids. Like sometimes when I'm just launching or I'm doing a PPC campaign, I'll use the fixed bid one. This is great to see everybody's different strategies here. All right. So for those of you who use Atomic, you can actually control that now within Atomic. So make sure to go ahead and take advantage of that. All right. Let's see. Shivali, are you with us? Like, even if I am. Your video doesn't work, that's totally fine. Let's just go audio and give us our Market Tracker 360 update of the month.
Absolutely. So we started a new segment, Market Tracker 360 Live, a couple months ago. And at the time, we were tracking Christmas trees. Now, of course, we are a little bit past the Christmas season. So we wanted to switch gears and show you guys a brand new market. Last month, I asked you guys, what market do you want to look at? And someone said pets. So I went into Black Box, used one of those strategies that Carrie talked about earlier in this webinar, and found summer dog backpacks. So I said, let's take a look at summer dog backpacks. These are the styles that we are currently seeing. They're super cute. And if I take a handful of those keywords and wanted to input them into Market Tracker 360, we would see what's on the next slide. So the next slide, we see that I'm creating a market. Now, inside of Market Tracker 360, you can input up to 15 keywords and as many ASINs as you want to generate a market view. Now, initially, I saw there were dog backpacks for small dogs, medium dogs, large dogs, different stylings as well. So I went a little bit niche. I tried to go and select small dog keywords, but some of those keywords had little search volume. So it was less than 1,000, which is the threshold for Market Tracker 360. And so I decided to pick some of these other broader ones. Once that was done, I had my market view built and ready to go. And this is what I saw. So here you have the market share, which is standing at 24.59% on average. You have your insights board right underneath there, which you can segment out into brands, products, categories of top performing, fastest growing, and top declining. Now, initially, if you take a look at the number four, which is Baba, you see that it's number 5 for unit sales as opposed to number 4 in revenue. And then similarly, you see a little, some of these brands kind of mixed about. Now, the only thing is if I go on to the next page, which is if I had selected the products section, the products tab, then some of these products aren't entirely relevant to what we initially were looking for. So number 2 is a baby carrier. Number 5 is a crate, not entirely a backpack. So what I want to do is filter that down to get a more granular view as opposed to a broad dog and cat view. I went into filters and I added product title contains dog carrier backpack with a mid-range pricing because I know that I want to sell it around that mid-range price. Once I do that and I clicked apply, it applied to my entire market view page. And that changed that market share percentage now to 74.45%. Keep in mind, this is not with a product marked as our own, but that could be something that we do next month. So make sure that you stay tuned to see how that changes things. But here we're seeing 74.45%. And you can also see that the brands on the insights board have also changed because now you are looking at specifically dog carrier backpacks. If I scroll down a little bit on that same page, you'll see the overall market. If you keep revenue grouped by none, you can take a look at the overall health line, which is great, especially if you're an aggregator or maybe you just want to get a feel for that landscape. Going on to the next slide, you'll see that we changed that to revenue grouped by brand. And then we still have that historical comparison at none. But
Shivali,
here you
what's
can
going on with the brand names in this niche?
the brand names, I couldn't
Power
tell you. They're
Blue,
so
Liga
random.
Borbor.
Actually, if you take it, like, if you had noticed on the summer dog backpacks, that first slide I had, a lot of these sellers were from China. There's only about 1 to 2 sellers I really saw that were in the American market. So, not saying that that is a part of what's happening here, but branding, definitely there's some interesting names.
I don't know about that second one. What you who like woo like these are like baby words, right? Like baby words because it's for okay. Now it's kind of making sense. Maybe
Small
this is
dogs,
the baby
yeah.
language here. I love it. Anyways, continue. I'm sorry. That was
you're
just
good,
that was
good.
just bugging me right there as I'm going through these slides.
Yeah, they're quite fun. But you can see that I have hovered over the October 2022, and all of these revenues are now segmented out by brand because that is what we selected. If we go to the next slide, I changed the historical comparison drop-down menu from none to year over year. So when you're taking a look at year over year, what you'll find is even though that each of these brands are still doing revenue, they are a little bit down compared to the previous year. And so maybe this is one of those points that I can take a look at and say, hey, what's really happening here in this niche? Why are summer dog backpacks? Yes, maybe it's not quite summer season yet, but even if I'm comparing this month to last year, it's still down. So is the demand dropping? Is there a new customization feature that maybe people are drawn to more? Are they typing in different keywords? These are things that I can start thinking about to try to extrapolate a reasonable conclusion based off what I'm finding in this granular view inside of Market Tracker 360. So of course, this, you guys, is a really brief overview. There is no way I could kind of talk to you guys all about what Market Tracker 360 can do for you, but this is just that overview. And again, this is sort of a quarter by quarter segment. We'll go back to this niche next month. So make sure that you stay tuned and take a look at how things have changed. If you're interested in the Market Tracker 360 demo, be sure to check out this link here on the slide or to just scan that QR code with your phone to get that demo.
Yep, free demo. So those of you who at the beginning, when we had that poll, you said, hey, like I'm selling over $5 million, maybe you're doing 10, 15, 20, maybe you're an aggregator, maybe you're an agency or just a really big seller. This is for you. If you're brand new, you should be doing the other strategies in this webinar. Don't be focused on this. Like, don't even get the free call. This is not for you yet. You're not ready yet. But anybody who's doing significant revenue, you can see kind of like how this is next level information that the regular Helium 10 just doesn't have. Because most of us, might not need this level of information. But if you guys are selling multiple 7 figures, I personally feel you really need to get this free demo to see if this is a good fit for you. Now, tons of you guys were saying how you're selling already on Amazon or on Walmart, I should say. So, Carrie, there's like a special event coming up. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, so PackView and then some partners of PackView are hosting a session to help you to scale on Walmart. It's actually in Bentonville, so that's where Walmart is headquartered, which is really cool. It's on Thursday, February 16th from 9 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. So if you're interested in that, you can scan this QR code and reserve your spot. I definitely think it will be worthwhile to anyone who is selling on Walmart.
We went through lots of strategies today, guys. I know some of you were doing some. Maybe some of you aren't doing any of them. Maybe some of you are doing a majority of them. Let me throw up a poll really quick. I want to know how much you guys learned today. So how many of you had never done any of these strategies, like the 18 strategies we went over today? How many of you have just done a couple? And then how many of you have maybe utilized more than half of them? Let me know. We'll give this about 10 seconds here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Let's see if everybody says I do most of them. I'm going to be very upset. All right, look at that. Only 12% of you have used more than half. That is great. That means 90% of you guys, whatever sales figure you said you're doing last year, just by utilizing this strategy, even if you don't launch any more products, which I hope you do, you're going to be able to increase that just by leveraging a lot of these strategies, because these strategies aren't just for, oh, well, that's cool to know, or isn't this interesting? You notice that every single strategy, there's a kind of like a tie into your bottom line, how you could rank for more keywords to get more sales, how you can keep Amazon from, owing you more money than you need, or than you're due, right? How you get that money back. That's money in your pocket too. Every one of these strategies is tied to additional revenue through some way or another. So guys, get excited, because if you guys were already crushing it and making $1 million or $100,000 or 50,000, and you weren't using these strategies, imagine what you're going to be able to do with them. So thank you for replying there. And if you guys like this series, if you guys want to catch up with our other bigger, better launches, you can do that at helium10.com/launches. You can see replays of this one later on. And we're going to have a podcast replay of it as well. I think we did 18 strategies today. I want you guys to find the 9 ones today that you think are most applicable to you and implement each and every one of those between now and the next bigger, better launch, which is on February 23rd. So you guys have some homework. You got about 4 weeks. I want you to implement 9 of these, and I'm going to ask you in the chat. Carrie and Shivali, my memory is bad, so you guys remind me that we need to make a slide for this next month, and we want to see which ones that you guys implemented, and if you guys were already have been able to see an impact. Like maybe you never ran Refund Genie before, and you did it, and you got $100 back. You got $300 back. Maybe you never had alerts running, and you turned it on, and you noticed that Amazon changed your image or changed your dimensions. Maybe you guys weren't checking the opportunity keywords, like we were just talking about. Maybe you weren't doing follow-up, and now your reviews are increased. All these things we went over today, guys, they're not going to make you millionaires by themselves, but they all add up, and they're going to add $10 here, $100 there, $50 here, and that all adds up. So I want you guys to implement these, and we're going to ask you about it next month. So any last words of wisdom, Carrie, first of all?
Nope. I think that's all good. And we hope to see everyone again next month.
Awesome. And Shivali, your presence is just so radiant that you broke your Zoom and nobody could see your camera.
I couldn't tell you what happened. My entire computer was functioning except Zoom, but I'm so glad I could at least pop back on and that you guys were still able to hear the Market Tracker 360 segment.
Yes. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we have to have a name, like the Three Amigos, like we have to have a name, the Fantastic Three. Here it's the 4, Anyways, we'll be back. Us 3 will be back next month to bring you guys bigger, better launch on February 23rd. So until then, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.